The Cubs had a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, so we're going to go over all 3 of those games. We're going to look over what went right, what went wrong, and a quick preview of the 2-game set against the Los Angeles Dodgers. All of that is happening soon on this episode of Cubs 360. What's up, Cubs fans? This is Jack from Cubs 360. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 13 of the Cubs 360 podcast. If you're interested in this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is my recap to the Arizona Diamondbacks series. The Cubs take 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks, and they're back to their winning ways after losing the series to the San Diego Padres. So let's get right into Game 1. This is an early candidate for the game of the year, and we'll explain why in just a couple minutes. But the pitching matchup to start off is Colin Ray versus Corbin Burnes. And to start it off in the top of the first, Carroll struck out looking. Perdomo grounds out to first. Smith hits a base hit to right, and Josh Naylor will fly out to right. So the Diamondbacks get a hit in that inning, but no runs scored. So we head to the bottom of the inning. Ian Happ hits a base hit to center field. Kyle Tucker will get a base hit to center, so Happ will go to second. But then Seiya Suzuki grounds into a double play. Tucker's out at second, and Suzuki's at a first, and Happ will go to third. And then at the end of it, Mike Bush will fly out to center to end the inning. So the Cubs get 2 hits, no runs scored. So we go to the top of the second now. Gurriel Jr. will fly out to left. Suarez is safe at first on a fielding error by Brujan, who plays third base in this one. Moreno will line out to center field, and McCarthy will fly out to left. So no hits for the Diamondbacks in this one. And we go to the bottom of the inning, and Swanson will ground out to short. Nico Horner will fly out to left. PCA hits a double to right, and Carson Kelly hits a home run to center field. And it's a 2-run shot, so the Cubs are up 2-0, and then Brujan struck out swinging. So after 2 innings, the Cubs are already up 2-0. As we head to the third inning, Hampson pops out to second. Corbin Carroll will strike out swinging, and Perdomo struck out looking, so it's a 1-2-3 inning for Colin Ray. As we head to the bottom of the third, Ian Happ struck out swinging, Kyle Tucker grounded out to second, and Suzuki pops out to second, so a 1-2-3 inning for Corbin Burnes. As we head to the top of the fourth, Smith will ground out to first, Naylor will hit a base hit to right, Gurriel will ground into a fielder's choice to third, and Naylor will be out at second, and Suarez struck out swinging. So the Diamondbacks get a hit, but it is still 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Mike Bush will hit a double to center field. Dansby Swanson will ground out to shortstop, but Bush will go to third. Horner will ground into a fielder's choice, and Bush is out at home. And I saw that play, and I was kind of curious why Mike Bush ran there. I mean, that it looked like they were trying to get him out of home, and he still went anyways. So I thought that was a dumb decision there by Mike Bush. But either way, PCA will line up to center, so it probably wouldn't have mattered anyways. The Cubs get a hit, but they don't get any runs scored. So we head to the fifth, and Moreno will hit a double to left. McCarthy grounds out to first, and Moreno will go to third. Hanson struck out swinging. Corbin Carroll hit a base hit to center field, which will score Moreno, so now it's 2-1. Perdomo hits a double to left, and Carroll will go to third. So now you got 2 runners in scoring position, and that will be the end of the game for Colin Ray, as Fieldbar will go in for Colin Ray. Smith gets walked, so the bases are loaded, but then Naylor will ground out to second to end the inning to get out of the jam. So it is 2-1. As we head to the bottom of the fifth, Kelly will line out to right. Brujan will hit a double to left. Ian Happ will ground out to second. Brujan will go to third, but then Tucker grounds out to shortstop. So we head to the sixth inning, and Keller will now go in for the Cubs. Gurriel Jr. will strike out looking. Suarez will fly out to right field, and Moreno struck out swinging as well. So 1-2-3 inning for Keller. And I will say, of all the relievers, outside of like Presley and Hodge or whoever you want to say, Keller's been pretty solid for the Cubs, so give him props. As we head to the bottom of the frame, Corbin Burnes is still on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Suzuki will ground out to third. Bush struck out looking, and Swanson grounded out to Burnes. So that is a 1-2-3 inning for Burnes as we head to the seventh. Julian Merriweather will go in for the Cubs. McCarthy struck out looking. Hampson flew out to center field. Carroll reached on an infield single to Merriweather, and There was a pickoff error by Merriweather, so Carroll will go to second, but then Perdomo grounds out to first to end the inning. So we head to the bottom of the seventh, and Ryan Nelson will now relieve Corbin Burns. Nico Horner will hit a base hit to left. PCA will also hit a base hit to left, so now you have 2 runners on. Carson Kelly gets walked and the bases are loaded. Brujan struck out looking. And then in right center field, Ian Happ hits a grand slam to extend the lead to 6-1 for the Chicago Cubs to make it a 5-run game. Tucker will hit a triple to right. Suzuki struck out swinging. And then Mike Bush hits a base hit to left, which will score Kyle Tucker to make it 7-1. And then Jarvis will go in for the Diamondbacks, and Dansby struck out swinging to end the inning. So it is 7-1 as we head to the 8th. Now this is where this gets interesting. Jordan Wicks, who got called up, is on the bump now for the Cubs. Grichuk hit for Smith, and Workman will now go to third base. Grichuk hit a base hit to left. Naylor hit a single to right, so now you have 2 runners on. Gurriel Jr. also hit a base hit to left, so now the bases are loaded, and Porter Hodge will come in, and Suarez. And it just seems like every time he plays the Cubs, he cannot go a game against the Cubs without hitting a home run, let alone a grand slam. So it is 7-5, and it is a ball game once again. It's a 2-run game, and I believe this is like the 4th home run against the Cubs this season for Suarez on the Diamondbacks, and I think they played like at the first game. I think that was like their 5th game, and he had 4 home runs. So Suarez really, he loves playing the Cubs. So anyways, after that grand slam, Moreno lines out to second. McCarthy gets walked. Thomas will pinch hit for Hampson, and Thomas will hit a base hit to left, and they have 2 runners on. And there was a wild pitch by Hodge. So McCarthy will go to third, and Thomas will go to second. Corbin Carroll struck out swinging. Perdomo reached on an infield single to short, which will score McCarthy to make it 7-6. Thomas will go to third. Grichuk is on. He's up to bat now, and he hits a double to left. Perdomo scores on an error, and Thomas will also score on that error, and Grichuk is safe at third, and that was from a throwing error by Ian Happ. So now it is 8-7, and the Diamondbacks take the lead. Another breakdown by the Cubs bullpen here, and Naylor gets walked, and that is the end of the game for Porter Hodge. A rare instance where Porter Hodge is just not playing good, and Roberts will go in, and Gurriel will hit a 3-run home run, and to make it 11-7, Suarez lines out to left to finally end the inning. The Diamondbacks score 10 runs, and there were only 8 hits. So very, very brutal inning there by the Cubs bullpen. But here is the response from the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Jarvis is on the bump. Grichuk was a designated hitter. Tawa is at second base. McCarthy is in left field, and Thomas is in center field. Horner gets hit by the pitch. PCA gets walked, and they have 2 runners on. Carson Kelly hits a home run to center field. It is now 11-10. Turner will pinch hit for Workman. Turner struck out swinging. Matt Imply will relieve Jarvis for the Diamondbacks. Ian Happ hits a base hit to left. Kyle Tucker hits a home run to right field. So the Cubs retake the lead to make it 12-11. And then Suzuki hits a home run and make it back-to-back home runs. It's 13-11. Bush hits a base hit to right. Swanson reaches on an infield single to third, so that'll put 2 runners on. Nico Horner reaches on an infield single, so now the bases are loaded. PCA struck out swinging, and Carson Kelly grounded out to second, so that ends the inning for the Cubs. They take the lead 13-11 as we head to the top of the 9th. Ryan Presley's on the bump. John Birdie is at third base now. Moreno fouls out to first. McCarthy grounds out to first. Thomas hits a double to right, but then Carroll fly out to shortstop to end the game. The Cubs win by a final score of 13-11. The win goes to Ryan Presley, and the loss goes to Matt Imply. And for my 3 stars for this game, I think it's pretty obvious. My 3rd star is Ian Happ, who went 3 for 5. He had a grand slam, 4 RBIs. My 2nd star was Carson Kelly, who went 2 for 4. He had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. And even though the 1st star didn't have those exact numbers, there's a reason why he's the 1st star here, and that is Kyle Tucker. 3 for 5, a home run and 2 RBIs. He had the game-winning 2-run home run for the Chicago Cubs in this very wild game. So those are the 3 stars. The bullpen obviously was not good in this game. They really need to find a way to, again, not do that, because we've seen some very terrible outings from the bullpen, let alone we haven't seen 10 runs scored, so that was not good. But anyways, doesn't matter. The Cubs get the win 13-11, and with that, we will head to game number 2. So the pitching matchup in Game 2 is Ben Brown versus Zach Gallen. And to start off, Corbin Carroll with a leadoff home run to already make it 1-0 Arizona. Perdomo safe at first on a fielding error by Mike Bush. Smith gets walked, so there's 2 runners on. Naylor will line out to short. Suarez strikeout swinging, as well as Thomas to end the inning. So it's 1-0 Arizona. As we head to the bottom of the first, Ian Happ gets walked. And Tucker will hit a triple to second, which will score Ian Happ to already make it 1-1. Suzuki struck out swinging. Mike Bush hits a base hit to right, which will score Tucker. Swanson hits a base hit to left, which will send Bush to third. So now you have 2 runners on. Horner struck out looking, and PCA struck out swinging. So to end the inning, the Cubs are up 2-1. As we head to the top of the second, Ben Brown is on the bump still. Moreno gets walked. McCarthy flies out to right. Tawa pops out to second. Carroll hits a base hit to left, and Moreno will go to second. And Perdomo struck out swinging to end the inning. As we head to the bottom of the second, Amaya gets walked. John Birdie will hit a base hit to right, which will send Amaya to second. Ian Happ will line out to right, which will send Amaya to third. And Kyle Tucker will ground out to the pitcher, which will score Amaya, and Birdie will go to second. Suzuki hits a home run, which will also score Birdie to make it 5-1. And Bush hits a homer to make it back-to-back home runs. It'll be 6-1 Chicago, and then Swanson struck out swinging. So after 2 innings, it's 6-1 Chicago. As we head to the third inning, Smith gets walked. Naylor will line out to right. Suarez struck out looking. Thomas got hit by the pitch, which will send Smith to second. And Moreno struck out swinging as well. As we head to the bottom of the third, Horner grounds out to third. PCA flies out to center. And Amaya will pop out to short. So a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Gallen. As we head to the fourth, McCarthy flies out to left. Tawa grounds out to short. Corbin Carroll hits a base hit to center. Perdomo gets walked, which will send Carroll to second. And Smith struck out swinging. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, Birdie flies out to right. Happ flies out to left. And Kyle Tucker fouls out to third. 1-2-3 inning for Zach Gallen. Thielbar will go on the bump now for the Cubs. In the top of the fifth, Naylor flies out to right. Suarez pops out to second, as well as Thomas. So 1-2-3 inning for Thielbar. In the bottom of the fifth, Suzuki flies out to left. Bush grounds out to first. Swanson hits a double to center field, and Nico Horner pops out to second. As we head to the sixth, Moreno flies out to right, McCarthy flies out to center, and Tawa will strike out swinging. So 1-2-3 inning for Thielbar. In the bottom of the sixth, PCA flies out to left, Amaya struck out swinging, and Birdie grounds out to third. So 1-2-3 inning for Zach Gallen. In the top of the seventh, Keller's on the bump for the Cubs. Carroll struck out swinging. Perdomo flew out to right field. And Smith grounds out to Keller, so 1-2-3 inning for Keller. As we head to the bottom of the seventh, and Murillo will go on the bump for the Diamondbacks. Ian Happ gets walked. Tucker struck out swinging. Suzuki lines out to left, and Bush struck out swinging. As we head to the top of the eighth, Palencia is on the bump for the Cubs. Naylor struck out looking. Suarez lines out to left, and Thomas struck out swinging. And in the bottom of the eighth, if I'm going to say his name right, Fireisen will be on the bump for the Diamondbacks. I doubt that I said his name right, but that's who it is. Dansby Swanson struck out looking. Horner flies out to right. PCA hits a double to left, and Amaya will fly out to center. And that's 1 hit for the Cubs. As we head to the top of the ninth, as Palencia will stay on the bump for the Cubs. Moreno grounds out to second. McCarthy grounds out to the shortstop. Tawa hits a home run to left center field to make it 6-2. Corbin Carroll gets walked. And on a fielder's indifference, Carroll will go to second. Perdomo grounds out to second, and that is the end of the game. The Chicago Cubs win by a final score of 6-2. The winning pitcher is Thielbar, and the loss goes to Zach Gallen. So for my 3 stars for this game, my third star went to Kyle Tucker, who went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. My second star was Seiya Suzuki, who also went 1 for 4. He had a home run and 2 RBIs. And my first star is Mike Bush, who went 2 for 4. A home run and 2 RBIs in this one. So the Cubs take the series, and we go to the third game. They could go for the sweep, but here's game 3 in just a second. So in the third game, the pitching matchup is Tyone versus Merrill Kelly. And in the top of the first, Carroll grounds out to shortstop. Perdomo struck out swinging, as well as Smith, who struck out looking. So 1-2-3 inning for Tyone. As we head to the bottom of the first, Ian Happ hits a base hit to left. Kyle Tucker gets walked, so there's 2 runners on. Suzuki struck out swinging, but Bush will hit a base hit to left, which will score Ian Happ and send Tucker to second. So it's 1-0 Chicago. Dansby Swanson grounded out to short, Bush to second, and Tucker to third. And then Nico Horner grounds out to third to make it 1-0. So I do want to mention, too, that there were 2 different rain delays in this game. So the MLB kind of fumbled the bag on this one. The second rain delay happened when Tucker and Happ were still on base. So the Mike Bush RBI base hit happened after the second rain delay. So just a little fun fact for you there. Anyways, let's get to the top of the second. Tyone still on the bump. Josh Naylor will ground out to third. Gurriel Jr. will fly out to right, and Thomas will ground out to the shortstop. And in the bottom of the inning, Merrill Kelly still on the bump for the Diamondbacks. PCA goes for the bunt, but he grounds out to third. Kelly will fly out to center, and Birdie struck out swinging, so 1-2-3 inning for Merrill Kelly. As we head to the third, Tawa gets walked, Herrera struck out swinging, and Tawa stole second. Hampson struck out swinging, and Carroll struck out looking. So it is still 1-0 after the top of the third. As we head to the bottom of the frame now, Ian Happ pops out to short, and Tucker will line out to short, and Suzuki flew out to right, so 1-2-3 inning for Merrill Kelly. So we head to the top of the fourth. Perdomo lines out to shortstop. Smith hit a ground rule double. Naylor will hit a base hit to right, which will score Smith, so it's a tied game at 1 apiece. Gurriel Jr. will hit a double to left, and Naylor will go to third. Thomas grounds to a fielder's choice to second. Gurriel Jr. will go to third, and Naylor is out at home. Thomas will steal second, but Tawa lines out to left. So the Cubs get out of the jam. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, it is still 1-1. And Bush will ground out to second. Swanson struck out swinging, and Nico Horner struck out looking. So it is still 1-1 as we head to the fifth inning. And Herrera gets walked. Hampson struck out swinging. Corbin Carroll will foul out to third, and Perdomo flew out to left. And then Kelly still on the bump in the fifth inning as the Cubs head to bat. PCA flew out to right field, and there was a foul ball dropped by the first baseman Smith. But Kelly grounds out to the shortstop. Birdie lines out to center field to end the inning for the Cubs. We head to the sixth. Julian Merriweather will go on the bump for the Chicago Cubs. Smith grounds out to second. Naylor hits a base hit to left. Gurriel Jr. reaches on an infield single to third. Naylor will go to second. Thomas will strike out swinging, and Tawa will line out to third. As we head to the sixth, Ian Happ will fly out to center. Kyle Tucker struck out looking, and Thompson will relieve Merrill Kelly here, and Suzuki grounds out to first. So we head to the top of the seventh, and Roberts will go on the bump now for the Cubs. Herrera lined out to left, Hampson struck out looking, and Carroll popped out to third, so that's a 1-2-3 inning for Roberts. As we head to the bottom of the seventh, Thompson will be on the bump for the Diamondbacks. Bush gets walked. He will eventually steal second. Swanson struck out looking, Horner struck out swinging. Beeks will be on the bump now for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and PCA struck out swinging to end the inning. So we head to the top of the eighth. Porter Hodges on the bump for the Cubs. Perdomo grounds out to second. Smith grounds out to second as well, and not Josh Naylor as well. So Nico Horner gets 3 ground balls and gets 3 outs from it. So 1-2-3 inning for Porter Hodge. Bounce back effort from what happened on Friday. As we head to the bottom of the eighth, Beeks is still on the bump for the Diamondbacks. Kelly pops out to third. Birdie reaches on an infield single to second, and Birdie is safe at second on a throwing error by Tawa. And Ian Happ will fly out to center. Birdie goes to third, and Tucker grounds out to first. So 1 hit for the Cubs, but they couldn't get any scoring. So we head to the top of the ninth. Ryan Presley's on the bump. Gurriel Jr. will fly out to left. Thomas flies out to center field, and Tawa will strike out swinging. So 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Presley. And Miller will go on the bump for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the ninth. Seiya Suzuki grounds out to third. Bush struck out looking, and Swanson struck out swinging. So we head to extra innings. Jordan Wicks is on the bump. Runner on second for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Herrera sacrifices 2 Wicks. Tawa gets scored, and Herrera is obviously going to first on a fielding error by Nico Horner, and Herrera will go to second. So Suarez will pinch hit for Hampson, and Suarez reaches on an infield single to second, and Herrera will go to third. Corbin Carroll will pop out to the shortstop. Perdomo lines out to second. Grichuk pinch hits for Miller, and he strikes out swinging. So we head to the bottom of the 10th. The Cubs are down 2-1. Miller still on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Naylor will go to first base. Suarez will go to third. Nico Horner reaches on an infield single to shortstop, which will score Swanson, so we are tied at 2 apiece. PCA grounds into a fielder's choice to the pitcher, and Nico Horner is out at second. PCA steals second. Kelly flies out to left. Birdie flies out to right to end the inning, so we head to the 11th with a 2-2 ball game. Wicks is still on the mound for the Cubs. Josh Naylor hits a base hit to right, which will score Perdomo. Gurriel Jr. grounds out to third. Naylor will go to second. Thomas will hit a base hit to center, and Naylor will go to third. And Tawa struck out swinging, as Moreno will pinch hit for Herrera. And Josh Naylor got caught stealing at home, and Jordan Wicks was pitching to Moreno at the time. So in the middle of the frame, the Diamondbacks score another run. It is 3-2. As we head to the bottom of the 11th, and Jameson is on the bump for the Diamondbacks with Moreno catching. Ian Happ lines it into a double play to shortstop. Birdie gets doubled off second, and Kyle Tucker lines out to center to end the game. The Diamondbacks win this game 3-2 in 11 innings. The winning pitcher is Miller. The loss goes to Jordan Wicks, and the save goes to Jameson. So Jordan Wicks, I mean, I'm like I said on Twitter, I only value him as a trade chip. I really don't see a future with him. And the bottom line, the experiment just has to end. He just really hasn't panned out, really. And he just hasn't really shown further signs of development. I mean, it's just kind of getting frustrated if you're a Cubs fan with Jordan Wicks. So I would trade him as soon as possible before his value gets any lower, and you can't trade him. So we'll see what happens there. But anyways, the Cubs still take the series 2 out of 3 games. They finally win a series after that loss to the Padres in that 3-game set. So now the Cubs are 14-10. They're still on top of the Central Division, so they're still somewhat in a comfortable position. They have the off day today on Monday, and they have a 2-game set against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But the last time the Cubs played the Dodgers was that 3-game set in Los Angeles. The Cubs took 2 out of 3 in that series. In between, the Dodgers swept the Rockies, and they took 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. So the Dodgers are in a bit of a hot streak. They're slowly creeping up behind the San Diego Padres for the top of the National League West, that very stacked division that even the Diamondbacks are in. They're 13-9, and I believe they're 4th in that division. So that should pretty much tell you how the National League West is going this year. So anyways, this is my recap series for the Diamondbacks. There's a 2-game set between the Dodgers, so after that series is done, I will see you back here for the recap of that series. Again, like and subscribe if you're interested in the content. Follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X, and that's all I got here. So this is Jack from Cubs360, and as always, go Cubs go.